Welcome to Ask Evette, and today here we have a question about mold exposure and the psychosomatics of that. Hi everyone, Evette Rose here, and welcome. I'm so excited to be doing this Ask Evette episode today. It's quite a topic that's near and dear to my heart. But guys, also for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Evette Rose. I'm also the author of Metaphysical Anatomy, which is a big book of 679 medical elements. And also this is for the psychosomatic stress behind these elements for adults. And of course, we have the kids version too. Now, also for those of you guys who would love to continue healing journey, I have free weekly master classes every single week, and you can find out at evetterose.com. I also have my intuitive body workshop where you can learn how to read the body like a book, and also my intuitive body workshop that we connect with the spirit guides and learn how to heal with them and work with them, and also find your own healing, technique and way of working as well. And then we also have the MAT level 1 healing course, which is a technique designed to help you to shift trauma easily and effectively in your life. And that's also the healing technique behind Metaphysical Anatomy Volume 1. So now let's dive into our topic here about mold and mold exposure. So mold is a type of fungus. Now that already says quite a lot when we just look at the psychosomatics alone, but we will dive into that in just a few seconds. So what we also have is what's called black mold. And this refer now, for example, actually to several species of mold that have like a dark green or black appearance. Now the color of mold isn't actually associated with how dangerous it might be, because everyone says, black mold is the most dangerous. Researchers are starting to find that that doesn't seem to be the case. Now, molds also thrive in warm and frequently moist areas and environments, including, for example, like baths or showers or toilets, kitchens, basements. And they can also actually grow on wood, dirt, or paper. So do not let yourself be fooled. So now let's have a look also here at the symptoms of what mold exposure could now hold for a person. So first of all, we have coughing, we have wheezing, we have stuffy nose. So we know now that the lungs are affected. The sinuses are affected. The eyes are affected because it can cause now red or itchy eyes. It can also cause skin rashes and a sore throat. Now, all of these parts and aspects, depending on which one is affected, because every mold exposure doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to affect all of these. So if you have, for example, now mold exposure, and now, for example, let's just say you cough, but you don't have wheezing, you don't have a stuffy nose, you don't have itchy eyes, you don't have like a skin rash or a sore throat. Now, what that would mean is it's important to look at the psychosomatic stress of what I'm about to explain here to you, combined then with the psychosomatics of coughing, because there's a reason why you're coughing, why the lungs are more vulnerable rather than the sinuses, right? That's how the psychosomatic pattern is now actually showing you where the biggest and most painful points are that emotionally needs to be looked at. So for example, let's just dive straight into coughing. So listen, this is now in the lungs. What this speaks of is normally a lot of deep sadness. There's a lot of deep grief. There's a loss of joy. Now, also when we look at mold in general, right? So mold, generally speaking, in terms of the psychosomatics, relates to old resentment. There's something that have become a growing, nagging problem. It's almost like, imagine like resentment that's just been growing under the surface. You're not 100% sure or even realizing that you are feeling resentful, but it is slowly, slowly growing. And this normally often can be because of boundary failures, injustices in your life. It can be because maybe people did the wrong thing by you. The reason can be endless. But at the end of the day, there's a threshold that is being overstepped, but you're not realizing it. You're not having that sensitivity in relationship to how it's affecting you. And this condition is asking you now to call and bring your focus back to you and what used to make you happy in life, and why doesn't it make you happy anymore? How can you bring your focus and your attention and your awareness back to that and create more of that as well? So now let's say, for example, say we have a stuffy nose. Now, a stuffy nose actually very closely correlates also with sadness. But now we relate to something that made you really sad, but there's a lot of anger. So for me, normally when you look at even the vibrational match of anger and resentment, they are very, very different. So resentment is more that place where you just feel like, oh, I just have had enough of this. It's a fed up feeling. But anger more still has a bit of a flow and a drive to it, of like, I want to fight this. There's still that punch to it, where resentment has become almost like a passive anger, if that's what you want to call it. So there's still a lot of charge. There's still a lot of jolt behind that anger, and the anger that's connected to the sadness. Normally the sadness is in relationship to grieving connections that you feel you cannot have because people don't know, or they are not showing up in your life in the way that they, for example, should. So of course, itchy eyes, this is all relating to, you know, perhaps you're so moving into a place and area in your life where you have every reason perhaps to be happy, but maybe because of your internal world and the way that certain people in your around your life is causing you to feel, it's creating this sense of irritation, this inner conflict of like, I want to feel the joy and the happiness of my life, but I can't because the people around me is part of the problem. So there's a bit of a conflict that's creating that sense of itchiness and that irritation. I feel irritated because I can't see the life that I'm trying to create, even though I know it is right around the corner. Now, of course, skin rash, you guys know skin rash is all about the skin is your boundary between you and the world. So if you have a skin rash and there's an irritation to that, then that tells me now that the area where you have the skin rash, that is very important to have a look. And you can find that in your quick reference guide if you have one, because we have that on a free mat membership site as well. Now, if what you can do with that is you can see where on your body the skin rash is, what is the psychosomatic stress connected to that part of the body, and then combine it with the psychosomatic stress that I explained here for mold exposure in general. So what is it that's irritating you? Who's irritating your boundaries? And normally it's quite an immediate situation. It's an immediate person or circumstances that happened quite recently. It wouldn't necessarily be something from the past. It's normally quite immediate. And then, of course, sore throat. We all know the throat is all about speaking, voicing yourself. But also now when we look at sore throat, for example, it could be that the heaviness that you have within yourself that you want to express has become so strong that it's almost like it feels like an energetic log that you're trying to pull with yourself to try to get it to get yourself just to say it. And the heaviness that comes with that normally is the resistance to what it is that you want to say. So it's almost like that I need to say it, but then that pullback, it's that constant tug of war that's creating the sore throat. It's almost like creating like that internal irritation as well. Now, also on another side here is a particular mold could actually also cause asthma attacks in people. Now, people with asthma also can have an increased sense of difficulty in breathing, and it can also come with, for example, like a chronic respiratory disease. So anyone who has lung problems already, of course, the mold is going to target that area first off, right off the bat. It's going to exacerbate something that you perhaps already had. So that is also the possibility. If that's the case, if you already had a precondition condition, it's important to look at the psychosomatics of that condition first, and then look at the mold exposure aspect now as well. Now, another thing also here to remember is that people with a weakened immune system are also at a higher risk of fungal infections. Now, fungus always really closely ties into resentment. Just that past, remember, the past of anger. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. And until next time, be the light that you are. Thank you guys for joining me here. And also remember to subscribe to our math membership website. You can check out so much more. There's so many free healing courses there as well. Go to evetterose.com, see all the free master classes and events that we have coming up. There's always something happening on our platform. And we love to hear from you for the Ask Evette episodes, but also for the psychosomatic patterns that you would love for us to talk about, especially when it comes to these books, the research that's in it. And there's so much to be learned and so much to be shared as well. So I love your questions. Let us know what's on your mind. Let us know what you would love me to address as well. Life challenges, it's endless. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. And remember to subscribe so that you can stay up to date with the latest and greatest videos that's coming out just for you. Until next time, be the light that you are.